Hello, and thanks for joining this video session where we're going to be talking about our MSc course in Electric Vehicle Systems. My name's Tina and I work in the marketing department here at Brunel, and I'm joined today by Dr. Chun Sing Lai, who is the course director of MSc Electric Vehicle Systems. So welcome, Chun. Thanks very much for joining us. And would you like to kick off by giving us a brief bio of yourself?
Sure. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Chun Sing Lai. I'm the course director for Electric Vehicle Systems Master's Program and also a senior lecturer within the Department of Electronic and Electrical Engineering. So before joining Brunel, I did my PhD at Oxford University in engineering science. I also did a postdoctoral studies at Leeds University before returning to Brunel since my first degree in undergraduate.
Thanks very much. And so this particular course, how long has it been running and what's the main aim of it?
Thank you, yeah. So this program has been running for 2 years. So we have 2 successful cohorts of students. And the aim of the program is to educate the next generation of engineers to be targeted with knowledge of electric vehicle systems. As we know, a lot of countries globally, we are tackling the transport industry carbon emissions. And of course, electric vehicle could be a viable solution in reducing tailpipe emissions, which uses motors and batteries going forward.
Oh, I see. And obviously the electric vehicle sector is something that's rapidly evolving, probably changing every day. How do you make sure that this course is kept completely relevant and up to date?
Yes, of course. It's very important to make sure it's up to date. So in fact, we have an industry advisory panel for this program, which at the moment consists of 9 industry partners. And their task is to regularly review our program and the modules of the program to make sure they have the relevant content, which is very important. As students graduate, they look for job and employment. So for example, we have companies including automotive industry, even from the national grid, where they also have challenges in managing the EV charging and discharging throughout the country.
I see, thanks. Now you can study this flexibly up to a point, can you? Can you explain the different modes of study?
Yeah, thank you. So at the moment, the program has 2 intakes. Mm-hmm. So we have the September intake and the January intake. And the idea is to provide flexibility for applicants such that depending on your situation, for example, we understand applying for visas or handling with family matters can take time. So we have the January intake as well as an addition. However, no matter which intake you choose, it would not matter on the course.
The same content?
Yeah, same content.
Same content on
yeah.
both. Excellent, thanks. And what kind of background do most of your students come from? Do some of them come straight from their undergrad or have they worked?
Yeah, so some of our students are actually mature students. They have a couple of years of industry experience working in the electronic industries or even automotive industries. However, as we know, the electric vehicle and the traditional combustion engine vehicle, they are completely different technologies. And a lot of engineers, they need to be up to date how to handle with an EV, including the infrastructure to charge them. And this is when a lot of applicants, they are interested in this program.
Right, right. Now, in terms of getting onto the course, the entry requirements, there is the standard Brunel engineering entry requirement of a 2-2 or equivalent in an engineering discipline. But are there any other routes for people who maybe don't have that standard qualification?
Yes, of course. So we are typically looking for example, a strong engineering and physics background, including mathematics. So these are all very relevant to the program, in fact. As we know, engineering and physics, they are highly related. So for this program, we also have students coming from communication background. As we know, for EVs, there is a lot of communication element. So for example, the CAN system, the Ethernet system, etc. So we do have a diverse range of applicants applying for this program.
Right, thanks. It's worth saying at this point that there are a number of scholarships that applicants can apply for. This isn't the place to run through them, but if you are looking to make an application, please go to our website and search for the scholarships page, particularly international students, as there are quite generous scholarships available for international students. So please check the website before you apply. Let's move on now to the actual content of the course. Could you give us an illustration of which modules are compulsory and which are optional?
Sure. So we have compulsory modules. So they are classed as modules that has to be taken by students. So for example, we have modules including power electronics and drives, which is of course the motor system and the battery system. And we also have communication systems for the EV. So as I mentioned briefly, for the controller area network, the Ethernet system for the car, how different components within the vehicle can communicate, vehicle to grid and grid to vehicle charging, etc. Those are relevant topics and modules in the program. Thank you.
And what about your dissertation? Obviously, that's going to be a third of your master's qualification. Can you give us some examples of some interesting topics that have been submitted recently?
Sure. Yes, so as the program in electric vehicle systems is comprehensive, so we don't only look at the vehicle itself, but we also look at the charging infrastructure for the vehicle, and also the national grid as well in terms of handling the large-scale charging. So for example, we have dissertation topics related to forecasting of future electric vehicle charging demand for the grid. So this is one example. And the other example is related to the optimal power flow for battery and supercapacitor charging system for an electric vehicle. So as we know, a traditional EV uses only a battery and a motor. However, because battery, they degrade easily due to rapid charging and discharging through high acceleration. So the idea to use a supercapacitor is to help to provide a buffer for the vehicle to discharge. So that would reduce the degradation of the battery. So this was another project which was taken by another student, and the student did very well. In fact, he was graduated with an award within the dissertation topic.
Oh, right. And presumably will go on and get a job in that particular area of EV?
Yes, he has secured employment already.
Already? Oh,
yes.
Great. Excellent, thanks. And so in terms of day-to-day life of a student on your course, can you give an example of how a typical day might be?
Yes, sure. So, of course, in 1 week, students are expected to take lectures and seminars. So these are delivered by different academic members. Yeah. And they also have the opportunity to run the lab experiments as well, so to conduct laboratory work as well. So students, they have a lot of things to do on campus. So for example, they can choose to study in the library, and they have a dedicated self-study time as well to go through the modules. As well, they can also choose to work on practical and simulations, experiments on their own time to do further learning.
Right, and what sort of facilities do we have here for this course?
Yes, thank you. So we actually have motors and battery management systems, which are practical work that can be used by students as part of the learning. And also we have simulation softwares. So for example, circuit analysis and embedded systems modeling. So we have many kind of simulation and softwares available for students.
Great, thanks. And in common with our other electronic and electrical engineering master's courses, it's accredited by the IET, sorry, you have to say what IET is, the Institute of
Electronic Engineering and Technology.
Exactly, thank you. Can you explain what the benefits of this accreditation are, please?
Yes, sure. So the accreditation is very important, especially for students who would like to seek for professional chartered engineer status. So by completing the program, they would have partially met the chartered status through academic ways. However, after participating in several years of work, they would meet the full chartered status. So in other words, the program is one of the requirements to meet the academic status.
Right. And does that apply equally to home students and international students?
Of course, they are very free to apply, when they are ready.
Okay. And finally, the probably the most important thing, careers. Can you give some examples and some real anecdotes of the kind of jobs that your graduates have gone into?
Yes, thank you. So in the recent years, after the completion of the program, students have gained employment in automotive industries. So as a test engineer for automotive industry, and also students, they could seek employment in other aspects of electronic and electrical engineering occupations. So I know one of the graduate, he works as a Internet of Things engineer. So he developed IoT solutions for different engineering problems and systems. So we do have a wide range of engineers in different fields, not only in automotive.
And what about the opportunities for maybe staying on and researching?
Oh, yes, definitely. So as the program is taught by research-led academic members, they have opportunity to work in dissertation, which is in the global leading edge research areas. And of course, if the students would like to do a PhD, they are very welcome to.
Good, excellent. Well, I think we've covered all the areas that our prospective students normally ask us questions about. But in the meantime, if there are any questions that we haven't covered and you're interested in making an application, please send us an email to, it's very easy to remember, enquiries@brunel.ac.uk. And if you mention the name of this course, then your inquiry will be forwarded on to Dr. Lai here. But in the meantime, we look forward to receiving your application, and thanks very much for watching, and thanks, Chun, for joining.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.